Creating artwork in Black India ink can be very unforgiving.
Oh, come on!
In this video, I'm going to give you 3 practical tips to help improve your inking. So stick around. Hi, my name is James Owens, and on this channel, I'm going to share with you the techniques, tips, hacks, and history that I've learned over 35 years to help you become a better artist. Now, I love the challenge of working in black and white. If you're watching this video, you've probably heard of Inktober. So this last year, I decided to film a new ink drawing for every day of the 31 days of Inktober. Now, because I created those videos for Instagram, they're all under 1 minute long, but I've compiled some of the best of those videos to give you 3 practical tips to help improve your inking. I also included some recommendations for some terrific ink artists that you should be aware of and studying if you're at all interested in doing ink work. So let's get into it. First up are 4 short clips that will encourage you to approach different pieces in different ways. We all have our favorite techniques, but it's not only fun to try something new, it'll make you more versatile. And I believe that the more techniques you know, the better you'll be able to create what you see in your mind.
Okay, day 10 of Inktober. Now, who doesn't love the creature from the Black Lagoon? But I wanted to do a piece that was a little creepy. And so this is kind of an experiment. I started by dropping ink on the paper and blowing it with a straw, but I wasn't happy with the way that was going, so I actually took the paper that the straw was wrapped in and dipped it in the ink and tried to draw with that. And it turned out I was pretty happy with the way this experiment came out. I hope you guys dig it. I think it's got a little bit of a creep factor to it, but that's what I was going for. The artist I want to share with you today is Aaron Horkey. Now, he does these exquisite pieces that are a little creepy, but he has a magnificent grasp of typography, and he combines his ink work with typography, and it's just beautiful. If you get a chance, go online and find Aaron Horkey. Owens out.
Hello everyone, welcome to day 8 of Inktober. Today, I decided to do this World War II Marine charging into battle, and I really wanted to take advantage of the texture of the rice paper that I'm using. And so rather than using line work to create my gray tones, which is what I've been doing on all the other pieces, I wiped a lot of the ink off the brush, and I was going for a dry brush technique on this one, which turned out really well, gave me some nice tone work, and it kept a grittiness to this piece that I really liked in the reference photo that I was using. The artist I want to share with you is a guy named Bernie Wrightson. Unfortunately, he passed away within the last few years, but he did a series on Frankenstein that will just blow your socks off. Incredible mood, atmospheric texture. Get a chance to look at those. You'll love them. Owens out. Greetings and salutations, everyone. It is day 9 of Inktober. So for this raven, I decided to use a technique that I believe is called split brush. This is where you load the brush, but take off enough ink and mush the end of it to where the hairs spread. So it's not really a dry brush technique. It's each individual hair leaves a little microscopic line. And so I thought these feathers were going to give me a hard time when I approached this piece. But using that split brush technique, it got a really nice effect on the feathers, and I was really pleased with the way it came out. The artist I want to share with you today is Mark Schultz. Now, he created a graphic novel called Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. He's got a really beautiful technique. He draws and inks beautiful women and men. And if you're into like old cars and fantasy stuff, I think you'll really dig this graphic novel. If you get a chance, go online and see for yourself. Owens out. Okay, day 17 of Inktober. And today I decided to ink this World War II era P-40 fighter plane. This was the workhorse of the Allied forces early in the war. Had an incredible record with the AVG, the American Volunteer Group, in the China-Burma-India theater, against a foe that had a much more maneuverable airplane in the Japanese Zero. I decided to do this in an ink wash today. I'd never done an ink wash on this drafting vellum. It took it beautifully. I'm continuing to work on mostly the drafting vellum just because it takes the ink any way you want to apply it, and it's beautiful, and it doesn't wrinkle up on you.
The artist I want to share with you today is the great Al Hirschfeld. If you've ever been to a Broadway play, then you've probably seen his work. He did these incredible caricatures of famous people for, I want to say, 6 or 7 decades he was at it. Incredible work. Always did beautiful ink work. Check him out if you get a chance. Owens out.
Sometimes the piece you're working on will tell you it wants to be something different, such as the Creature of the Black Lagoon piece that I just showed you. I once heard a story about the great illustrator Norman Rockwell, who was so afraid that he was tightening up too fast in his underpaintings that he went out in his yard and found a broken brick and a piece of shingle that had blown off the roof of his house, and that's what he would do his underpainting with. So don't be afraid to try unconventional things. The second set of clips I want to share with you deal with one of the most important, if not the most important aspects of your art: tonal value. Tonal value is everything. Capturing subtle tonal value with black ink on white paper can be tricky, but as you'll see in these next clips, there are ways to handle this.
Hey guys, and welcome to day 2 of Inktober. Today I'm doing this groovy 1930s era cowboy. I really like this image because of the uplighting on it. It was dramatic lighting, and the giant 10-gallon hat. Classic 1930s Western style. I just really dig that. And the challenge on this was the lighting on the face, because you have to edit. All art is editing, and you have to figure out how much ink you can put on the face without the face looking like there's something on the face rather than lit. And you can do that by leave it off. When in doubt, leave it off. You can always add it a little at a time. The illustrator, inker I want to share with you today is the great Dave Stevens. He is the writer, creator of The Rocketeer. And if you're not familiar with the original comic, go online and do yourself a favor and find it. Owens out.
Hi everyone, coming at you with day 7 of Inktober. Now today I put myself to the task of painting glass with black ink on white paper. And what I found out is that when you're doing glass or something delicate like this, this is something you really want to sneak up on. You don't want to get too heavy-handed with your blacks too quickly. Lay your lines in easy. Keep a lot of space between them. Give it some air, because that creates your gray tones. And I'm trying to do this without using any whiteout. And so far, I've not used any whiteout. Trying to be just extremely careful and sneak up on things. And you can always come back and add more to make things blacker, but you can't take it off. So the artist I want to share with you is the great Frank Frazetta. We're all familiar with his oil paintings, but do yourself a favor and go look at his ink work. Spectacular. Owens out.
Hey everybody, day 4 of the Inktober challenge. And today I did this 1930s motorcycle hill climber. The challenge on this piece was to create a sunny day with this bike kicking up all kinds of dust. Not an easy task when you're using black ink on white paper. So the thing to remember is don't get too heavy-handed on your blacks. Maybe just indicate them with multiple lines to create a grayish tone, because what you're trying to create is that atmosphere you're looking through, that atmosphere of dust. Don't get too heavy-handed on the blacks, and look for those lost and found edges. The artist I want to turn you on to today was a man named Heinrich Klee. He worked in the early part of the 20th century. I actually found out about him from my aunt, who's in her mid-80s, and she's been an artist her whole life. She's always loved Klee. He would do these crazy dancing elephants holding umbrellas and these crocodiles in suits with monocles and stuff. If you get a chance, look him up. I think you'll enjoy him. Owens out.
If you're getting value out of this video, please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you won't miss any of my upcoming videos. No matter what medium you're working in, you're going to make mistakes. And that can be particularly devastating with ink work, especially if you don't want whiteout all over your piece. Now here's 2 quick clips to show you a couple of ways of handling situations like this.
Hey guys, coming at you with day 6 of Inktober. Today I decided to do Sir Duke Ellington. I don't use the term genius very often when it comes to any art form, but if you're not familiar with Duke Ellington's orchestration and his orchestra, go check it out. Do yourself a favor. I always say when it comes to art, some come easy and some fight you the whole way. This one fought me the whole way. You're looking at rendition number 3. 3 times I inked this. First time I inked it on rice paper, which it turns out wrinkles up very badly when you lay a lot of ink on it, which I obviously did in this piece. Second time it wrinkled on a different kind of paper, and third time I'm using a frosted drafting vellum, which takes the ink beautifully. I've used it for charcoal and ink, and it's just gorgeous. The artist I want to suggest to you is Frank Miller, the creator of Sin City. Now, his graphic novels are just spectacular to look at because of his use of graphic work, black and white with a little dash of red here and there. Check it out. Owen's out.
Hey guys, day 11 of Inktober. Now, I want to share with you today how you can fix some things in your work as you go. So I don't like to use whiteout if I don't have to, especially on this drafting Mylar, because it's so beautiful, takes the ink so beautifully. But if you put a spot of whiteout on there, it really shows up, even when it's mounted under glass. Well, when I was masking this off to do the spatter technique in the background, some of the spatter got under the mask and actually turned the pistol in his hand into just a giant blob of black. But I was able to take a Q-tip and dip it in water and pull up the ink and repair the drawing. So there are things you can do without having to resort to whiteout. The artist I want to share with you today is Ashley Wood. Now, Ashley does incredible paintings, but has beautiful ink work as well. If you get a chance, go online, check out Ashley's work. It's kind of rough and kind of edgy, but it has a great energy.
One of the biggest pieces of advice that I can offer you is don't be afraid to start over. As with that Duke Ellington piece, it just wasn't working. I probably could have fixed it with some whiteout, but I knew I could do it and I wasn't willing to settle. Even in my oil paintings, I'm not afraid to start over, because we all get that thing where we're like, oh, I can fix it, but it just keeps getting muddier and muddier and it loses its freshness. So my solution to that is this. That's right, I pull out the shiv, shank, the Arkansas toothpick, the trusty X-Acto blade. That's right, I have literally sliced up painted canvases to keep myself from the lie that I can fix it. You can't fix it. It's just going to keep getting muddy. Besides that, you're better off to start over because you've already done the heavy lifting. You've solved the painting problem. So when you start on that fresh canvas, it's going to go faster and it's going to turn out better and have a freshness that the other one lost. Question of the day. What tip or piece of advice were you given that really helped improve your artwork, particularly inking? Not everyone has an art store near them, so I've included links down below for some of the items I've used in these videos. Now here's that bonus I promised you. 3 of the greatest inkers of all time. The first of which is one of my absolute favorites, James Montgomery Flagg. Now you might know him from his famous Uncle Sam Wants You poster. Flagg lived from 1877 to 1960, and he was somewhat of a child prodigy. He sold to national magazines by the age of 12. Now, I've always loved his use of bold blacks and thinner, linear tonal values. I would say he's had the most influence on the way I like to ink. The second artist I want to share with you is Joseph Clement Cole. He lived from 1881 to 1921. He was an American illustrator from Philadelphia. He had such an exciting energy to his work. He was a master of the pen and ink. I love his use of delicate lines juxtaposed with his bold blacks. The third artist I want to share with you is the great, the mighty Franklin Booth. He lived from 1874 to 1948. He was an American illustrator. He was a popular illustrator who provided illustrations for all the major magazines of his day, as well as working with clients such as Rolls-Royce and Bulova watches. I think he may have had the most impressive technical skill of any inker alive or dead. His control of tonal value and his use of light is second to none. I could look at his work for hours. Just look at the light in this cathedral. Amazing to realize it's just black lines on white paper. So there you are. 3 quick practical tips to help improve your inking. I hope you found it useful. Until next time, go make something cool. Owen's out.